With the injury to Martin Odegaard, Arsenal have needed their other players to step up, and overall that has happened. Arsenal have played brilliantly without Odegaard and are still unbeaten this season. One of the players that specifically needed to step up was Gabriel Martinelli, who in the last few Premier League games has shown a much better improvement around the team, scoring in both games. In this video we're going to look at why he could be back and why he could get even better in the next coming month. So let's get into it. Now I think it's about time I finally do a video about Gabriel Martinelli. I've only ever done one video about this guy before, and that was a negative one in December. Now I've been very critical of Gabriel Martinelli, who did have a difficult season last year. He only got around 6 goals and 4 assists, and a lot of them were quite easy at the end of the day, and he had around a 0.2 goals and a 0.18 assists in all competitions, which is considerably down in both aspects for him what you saw the year before. And at the start of this season I would say he still kind of struggled. I did a video about Aston Villa game and I spoke about Trossard coming on and adding something different, but most of the time Martinelli, not only tactically it was struggling, he was picking the ball deeper and out wide, not where you want him to get the most touches, but he also wasn't being clinical enough in the box. That Tottenham game, there's games after that where he hasn't really taken them specific chances he has got. So I do think there's also tactical concerns for him, but I also think that the player needed to be a lot more clinical. However, since the Manchester City game, I think Gabriel Martinelli has been a new and improved player, and I think he has pretty much locked down that left wing spot. Even though I don't think Sterling had the worst game against Southampton, I think Martinelli's levels have been incredibly high. Now, I think there is one clear indication of why Martinelli's performances have improved, and that is the inclusion of Calafiori playing in left back over the last few games. Since he came in against Manchester City, we saw a connection between them two I don't think we've really seen Martinelli have in a long time, and finally he was getting players play the ball over to him and allow him to get 1v1s where he can run at the defender to get into good positions. And we've obviously spoke about it a lot, but Calafiori's attacking positionings not only do back up Martinelli, it creates a fluid transition between the triangle that side. Now we're finally seeing even Trossard come over if he's playing to come and help these two over there, or Rice coming to back him up as well. There's a lot more balance in the team, and the team's a lot more focused at getting up the pitch either down the left or right, let alone just the right like before. Now this is definitely because Odegaard isn't in the team, and without his influence Arsenal can go down the right through Timber and Saka and Havertz coming over, but they've also got that balance on the left side with Trossard and Rice really working well, and you see the transitions that they move. There'll be times where Trossard comes deeper and hugs the byline, there'll be times where Calafiori will make the overlap or in-lapping runs, and Rice will always get in the box to help him. But this is not what is important to Martinelli more specifically. I think the thing that has been real key is how good Arsenal are getting at switching the ball quicker. Now there's still some problems with this. I think against Southampton, without Timber and Calafiori playing as a fullback options, it kind of limited that a little bit, especially with our slow midfield. But Arsenal have the ability when these players play to actually transition the ball quickly. There's many times where Timber will come into the centre, Partey may be a little bit elevated, and the Arsenal can quickly get the ball all the way from the right side to the left side in a matter of seconds with Calafiori inverted inside. This and Trossard playing, who is actually becoming a very good long ball player, he's becoming much more efficient at this, is allowing Martinelli to get breakaways and 1v1s at opponent, and players are coming inside of him, and we're actually seeing a lot more left footers in them positions that are giving him the chances, which we can see from Calafiori. Obviously being a natural left footer helps Martinelli so much. And finally Martinelli is able to get shots away in great positions. I mean, you look at his average position from the Leicester game, he is the furthest one forward, which is what you want. You want him to be that over the top ball, that breaking opportunity, and most of his touches around the box or next to the byline close to the edge. This is where he can use his pace and his dribbling ability to go past players and also be in the edge of the box when Saka is progressing down the right. Now sometimes we still have that progression with Saka, and we saw this with his goal against Leicester. He can get in there with Rice and Havertz because he knows people like Trossard and Calafiori can cover in behind him to also create that role. And I do think this false 9 system of Trossard and Havertz, with one going over to the left, one going over to the right, and one coming deeper, one going long, has actually helped create a lot of diversion away from Martinelli where he's able to go at people. And this is the thing, Saka out of both of the wingers is going to be the one that brings the ball forward the majority of the time, has the most touches on the ball, is your main output creator, which we've seen with Odegaard's absence. And obviously Martinelli's going to have a lot less touches. Even in the Leicester game, Martinelli had 40 and Saka had 102. You think about the difference that is. But the reason why this actually works out is because Calafiori and Trossard are coming over to the left side and picking up them touches. Now Rice has done really well in that role, I think, in the left centre mid role, but it's not necessarily his complete cup of tea. He's not always going to do them left-footed passes because he's not left-footed. Sometimes his areas aren't necessarily going to help Martinelli. This is why you don't necessarily necessarily need him, and he can be that +1 if Trossard or Calafiori isn't in that situation, or to bring another man in, which makes him better than being a part of the main triangle. And there's definitely been an indication of much more support for Martinelli. Now, with Rice obviously still playing, I think Merino will come in, and we've seen his inclusion in the last game specifically. Merino is coming into the centre, and not only is he going down the wing and backing up into them half spaces, being a proper left foot that actually helps Martinelli, he's also willing to do over the top through balls down to his side. He's a player that does not mind using his right foot and can do them over the top through balls, which Martinelli loves. This and the fact Calafiori can also come into the centre by inverting and find him with inside passes is very important for actually getting some progression, because the angles don't necessarily always work out that way. And there's another player that's also contributed to that, and that is Gabriel. There's been definitely a much more inclusion of Gabriel doing them passes over the top, and when Arsenal are playing teams like Tottenham, we saw it a lot where he would go over to try and get in Timber or Martinelli on that left side. Overall, this just creates Arsenal a much more opportunity to switch the play quicker. You can pass it to Gabriel, he can quickly do a hooked left-footed pass over the top to Martinelli, and it just gets us on the break and gets him to great positions. But sometimes everything I say, it is much simpler than that. I think the left side has been working a lot better with Calafiori, but it also seems like Martinelli has finally got a team that trusts him down that side, and there's some sort of friendships growing. Every time he scores or gets an assist, Calafiori goes right up to Martinelli, clearly having that bias to their side, which I think really works. But it's also leadership roles I think are very important for Martinelli. Now, he is still young and he isn't necessarily as developed as Saka, so he is going to make the wrong decision sometimes, which is completely fine. But the goal that he scored off the bench against Southampton was specifically a lot because the players around him told him what to do. When the ball is about to come in, you can see Merino and Calafiori actually indicate to Martinelli to come inside there and make that run. Now, obviously, Martinelli does the rest. Brilliant run, brilliant ball by Saka, and he scores. But just getting that belief by the players around you and that sort of leadership does help. I think Odegaard has helped players on the right side because he usually makes the right decision, and it does help when you've got Saka on that side anyway. But I think that's what Martinelli needs. He just needs a love inside, players that are going to help him and play off him and ultimately make Martinelli the main player in there. And the confidence is building with Martinelli, which is something that is very important to him. He has now scored 2 games in a row, which he hadn't even got a goal and an assist before the City game until February. And although it's a very small sample size, he's only started 5 games, 2 goals and 2 assists is actually a very good level to have. He's on 0.4 goals per 90 and 0.4 assists per 90, is what you expect to see from him, at least from a goal scoring standpoint, when he had that incredible season 2 years ago. If he can reach anywhere near that level, he can get 10 goals this season, then I think the improvement is there. And I think with Merino coming in and Calafiori's continue starting 11, I think he has to only get better. I also think Timber improved him a lot there as well. And I will say, for a long time, the left-hand side for Arsenal was pretty much useless. We weren't really getting enough from it last season. I do think with Calafiori coming in, with Trossard in that false 9, it has improved already, and I can't wait to see Merino in there, so it should get even better. Martinelli was always in the squad because he does do brilliant defensive output, and this is the thing with him and Calafiori's partnership blossoming. He will help Calafiori defensively while Calafiori helps him going forward. And in the City game, he made 2 clearances, 2 defensive actions, 4 recoveries as well, and he makes incredible defensive output and works really hard off the ball all the time for Arsenal. He allows Calafiori to go forward sometimes because he will push deeper, and I will never take that away from him. I think that is exactly why he's in the squad and should be starting anyway, and now he's starting to get some output going forward. To me, it is just a perfect reasoning to play it. And if he can keep this up, I'm sure he can have a great season and kind of lock down that left wing spot. He does have competition. Trossard, who I think has been brilliant this season, may have other roles right now, but can always be an asset there. And obviously Sterling's come in as well. But it'll be interesting to see how he takes his going into the future. But I think the Gabriel Martinelli that we want to see is finally back. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to watch my video about Havertz yesterday, about his new role and how great he is, please go and watch that. If not, I'll see you in the next one.